riches. And, we start with Shohei. It's so hard to encapsulate what he does because there's nobody that's analogous to what the guy is doing.
And then so Shohei on the down low donate a ton of money. Also a lot of failures.
Yeah.
And it's funny is that whether I, started Yu Darvish and
ドジャースのロバーツ監督が人気ポッドキャスターザック・ハーシュ氏と彼の番組で対談しました。ドジャースの一番のお気に入り選手の話題や大谷選手の凄さ、ダルビッシュの話から自身の信念の話まで盛りだくさんでした。略しました。
Hey, Dave Roberts, the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, 4-time World Series champion and a future Hall of Famer.
Zach, what's going on, man? Yeah, this is good. I'm a big fan of you, and you remind me of some of my players, the smart ones that have vision, that know how to handle themselves, and then that have success. And so for me, it's good to kind of connect with you, have a good conversation, and I'm excited for this thing to go a lot of different ways.
We're ready. We're ready to zig and zag and kind of get to the core of it all. But I think you got to drop a few names. Who are your favorite players on this team? I mean, who are the smart ones?
I've got an embarrassment of riches.
You do.
First and foremost, it's hard not to start with Shohei Ohtani. And this guy is not only a generational player, I just think he's a one of one. And people use the term GOAT, one of one, a lot. But a guy that can do what he does and then kind of take on the world, the burden of being the face of baseball, is pretty special. So throwing 100 miles an hour, hitting 50 homers, stealing 50 bases.
Yeah.
Face of baseball, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts. This dude has bowled a dozen 300 games. He is a 3 index in golf. He can shoot threes, not like Steph, but it looks like Steph. He's won MVPs in baseball, been an all-star for 9 years, won 4 rings. So Mookie Betts, it's hard not to love him and think so highly of him. Freddie Freeman, there's no better clutch player than Freddie Freeman. Will Smith, I call him Vanilla because he's our catcher, and he's just a stud. And there's no self-promotion. Clayton Kershaw's the GOAT, just retired this year. So every baseball fan, Dodger fan knows Clayton. 18 years with the same team. How could you not, Zach,
How could
right?
you not? And I don't know if you know, but he played baseball with Matthew Stafford.
And he played baseball with Matthew Stafford.
Every single NFL game, Matthew Stafford throws that fact out there.
No, that's right. But the thing is, though, is that towards the end, when Clayton was going to retire, this was his last year, Matthew was at a lot of his games that he started, and those two guys were on the same high school baseball team. That's crazy, and they still got love for each other. So I've been blessed with a lot of great players.
No, it's certainly an embarrassment of riches. And, we start with Shohei. It's so hard to encapsulate what he does because there's nobody that's analogous to what the guy is doing. There's nobody. I mean, we go back to Babe Ruth, but I'm like, it's like Patrick Mahomes if he was a lockdown cornerback. Like, I don't. How do you kind of describe Shohei Ohtani to a casual observer?
I think the thing is that it's like two people in one. And I say that because, we win the World Series this year. He starts game 7. He goes almost 3 innings, doesn't have his best stuff, gives up a 3-run home run to Bichette and Bo Bichette. He then has to recalibrate, compartmentalize that he's not pitching anymore. Now focus on the hitting. He gets 2 hits in that game, gets on base a 3rd time, still a good teammate because if you think about this, you start a game, you don't pitch well, you're out mentally.
Yeah.
But he has to have the capacity to still post as a hitter. And so essentially you're 2 people. So then as he gets ready for a major league game, you're getting ready from the savage killer part of it as a pitcher because you control the game because you're pitching. But on the other side, you're getting ready as a hitter to be ready to take on 5 at-bats. And then not only that is every single player in the ballpark that paid money that night is there to watch him. And you're not talking about just the U.S. You're talking about all of Japan.
Yeah.
And so to have to take that on, no one's done that. You know what I'm saying? And you got Patrick Mahomes, who is unbelievable. But then now he's not playing middle linebacker or he's Deion Sanders on an island, right?
Patrick Surtain too.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because now you're talking about a quarterback that's on the offensive, and then now you got to go and think about the defense and be locked down. So he's one
And
of
he's
one.
stealing base. I mean, unbelievable. Right. And then you recently told a story about him paying for his teammate's mother's cancer treatment.
That's right. That's right. And that's the thing is that, and this was on under the radar, that I kind of blew the whistle on this a few years ago because, guy we had in camp, and, I try to do things, Zach, early on in spring training and try to get our team together, because in spring training, there's a lot of players, right? So pitchers, hitters, veterans, young players, relievers, starters. So my job is to try to make this whole thing work. So what I try to do is introduce a player, and I get to introduce a player, tell about the player, make jokes about the player, make them do some funny things, light hazing. So I don't want to get canceled. It's just light. It's all in fun. And so one of our players said his mom's going through a bout of cancer. And then so Shohei on the down low donated a ton of money for the care because they weren't getting the care. And so I saw the mom in the World Series because he's now one of his brother is now with the Blue Jays, and she sought me out and really thanked me for that, and Shohei as well.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love it.
Incredible story.
And we started the interview, you said embarrassment of riches. Now that can come with its challenges as well, right? I mean, you're managing a nucleus of personalities of superstars. I mean, we haven't, and to my knowledge, seen a roster with this type of capability. So talk to me about managing this team the past 2 seasons, winning World Series, and kind of what you've had to overcome.
I think the thing is that, and I appreciate you asking the question, because I think that fans, media, everyone loves talent, because I think that what makes special players and the attention is because people can't do it, right? And so the trick is every player has got to feel that they're valued. They've got to get theirs, understand their value, which I completely understand. But to win championships, you got to figure out how to make those individual great pieces work together for the best interest of the group, the team. I manage the Los Angeles Dodgers. So how can we say, okay, the ultimate goal is to win a championship, but along the way, this marathon of a journey, this climbing of a mountain, along the way, you're going to get your flowers at certain points, but we still got to be mindful of the goal. So, yeah, and I mentioned Freddie, Mookie, Shohei. I think for me, I'm just fortunate because those guys are superstars, are the best workers. They're the most humble players I have. And so I think that from that, it just sort of top down feeds it. But yeah, I still got to make sure that, Freddie is valued and Shohei gets his value. But it certainly, Zach, makes my job a lot easier. But it's not easy because everyone's got egos. And, when I have a job that if we don't win the championship, the World Series, one of 30 teams, we failed. And there's nothing in any sport. No team has the expectation that the Los Angeles Dodgers have.
No, certainly. And you're not helping.
And yeah, we're not helping. We've won 2 in a row. And what's funny, Z, is we have the second parade. And so we're in Los Angeles, and all I could see along in the city of Los Angeles is three-peat.
Three-peat. Yeah, no, we're expecting a three-peat.
I'm like, hey, man, this is a parade for number 2
Nope.
back to back. So, but that's what we set ourselves up for. It's all good.
No, absolutely. And other teams are spending as well. It's not like the Dodgers are the only ones spending. I mean, we saw the New York Mets and what they did last summer, and some early success, but obviously don't end up winning at all. But we've seen across all major sports this dream team moniker, teams spend the salary cap and not get it done. I mean, I recall the Philadelphia Eagles being dubbed the dream team, and it goes up in flames. They don't make the playoffs. The cast of characters, the personalities becomes too much. In basketball, we saw the Phoenix Suns get Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. We saw the Nets have James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. I mean, these teams, it's hard to fathom how they don't work out, but you need the right type of leader to kind of, blend the personalities and make sure that things go smooth.
You do. And I think the thing of it, which I've been managing for 10 years, and we've won 3 championships I'm very grateful for and very proud of.
Last thing, we talked about GOATs in basketball. Is Shohei the GOAT?
Shohei's a GOAT. I'll tell you this. Barry Bonds is the best hitter I've ever seen. I can't speak to Babe Ruth, can't speak to Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams, all these guys, Orlando Cepeda, but Roberto Clemente, but Barry Bonds is the best hitter I've ever seen. But as far as best player, most talented player, he is by far the GOAT. There's just no one close.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and I've talked about my successes but how do you, I just think that, you and I touched on a little bit where it's like there's successes, but there's also a lot of failures.
Yeah.
And it's funny is that whether I, started Yu Darvish in 17 and he doesn't pitch well, could I be blamed for that? But we find out later they're stealing signs. There's times that I brought in relief pitchers in big spots and they don't perform and it's looked at as a failure, but I've done a lot of things and had the same process that worked out and they're successes. So a lot of things I think for me is, you can go back and look at the internet, you can go back print media and say all the different times that I failed or things didn't go our way and I take the brunt of the blame. But honestly, I think for me is the process has to be sound and I don't just try to go rogue and there's a process. And whether it's a belief in a player that might not necessarily add up to analytics, but it's still a process that I go through with coaches and I make a decision. I'm just trying to think of, certain things that didn't go well. I just honestly said, F it. And I think whether it's me having cancer and going, F it, I'm going to beat this. Whether I bring in a pitcher, I'll tell you this, Zach, there was a pitcher this year in the postseason. I took him out, Emmett Sheehan, a young prospect pitcher, in the middle of an at-bat against the Cincinnati Reds in the wild card series, in the middle of an at-bat, because I felt I had a guy in the bullpen warming up, and I felt Emmett wasn't going to be able to get this left-hand hitter out at that moment in time. And I just said, F it. It was unorthodox, but I said, F it. I'm going to do it because I feel it. But if that guy would have come in and given up a home run, I would have been a clown.
Yeah.
But I just said, F it. I'm going to do it. And it worked out. He struck the guy. Alex Vesia struck the guy out. And so there's things that I guess to a point that, you know what, you have your journey and you're crushing it. But at the same point, it's like you can't worry about what other people think. And I don't know when that really point of happened in my life, but I just sort of live my life that I just can't chase validation from people.
Yeah, it's so, hearing you say that, I felt the exact same way in my career, where like even, the handful of massive decisions that I've made, the one time I didn't go with what I truly felt, that wasn't my gut, it's the one that panned out the worst. So I feel very similar.
Yeah, well said.
Before we head out, what's one thing about Dave Roberts that nobody knows?
Gosh, one thing that people don't know, I'm a foodie, but people might know that because you're going to pair wine with food. I'm half Japanese, so I definitely love to sleep. I can say that about Japanese people because I'm Japanese. I love my naps.
I love naps as well. Do you think I could be half Japanese?
You know what, man? You know what? Yeah, you might be half Japanese.
I'm a big nap guy.
Yeah, you might. I'm kind of an open book. I might have gotten in a little bit of trouble when I was at UCLA. When I was at UCLA, I was a freshman and I was living in a dorm. Me and my buddy were playing catch with a football in the dorm on, I think, the 3rd floor. So he hits the sprinkler because we're in the studio right now, and there's these sprinklers right there. And so my buddy hits his sprinkler. Zach, I'm telling you, it gushed out and it started flooding the floor.
Oh my God.
And so we both bolted the other way, opposite ways, down the stairwell, flood the whole dorm. And we're trying to contemplate, do we tell ourselves and admit that it was us? or do we just act like we don't know what the heck happened, why this dorm was flooded? So we ended up confessing, and I ended up having 40 hours of community service. We flooded the entire dorm, and the people said, if I wouldn't have told, we would have got kicked out of UCLA. That was my first quarter at UCLA. So that's something I try to keep under wraps, that my GPA, I don't want to talk about my GPA my first quarter, but I got better after my first quarter, and I flooded Sproul Hall at UCLA. So I had a rocky start to UCLA.
There you go. Dave, appreciate you. Thank you for your time.